don't be average, because you weren't created to be average. Don't quit, right? Because quitters never win, and you're not a quitter. Taking control of your life. That's right. Getting in the driver's seat, navigating your life down the best path possible so you can see the success that you desire. And breaking up with excuses. That's right. No more excuses. We don't need excuses in this life, because those excuses are more than likely holding us back from being successful. Here's something that people or successful people do who are not so average. They set a plan for their life. They set a plan for their day. They set a plan for their week, their month, their year. So let's think about it. Maybe you have a goal to buy a new car. Maybe you have a goal to buy a new house. Maybe you have a goal to build upon your relationships. Maybe you have a goal to get a promotion on the job. Maybe you have a goal to start that new business. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter which one it is. They set the goal and then they develop a plan to get there. See, what I learned on this journey is when I was going for the PhD is that the goal was the PhD, but there were steps I had to do to get there. And what I liked about it is the school laid out 16 milestones or 16 steps that I had to do to get there. So if I did step 1, followed by step 2, followed by step 3, eventually I get to step 16, which means I would get my PhD. See, a lot of times when we set our goals, we say, yeah, I want to do this or I want to do that, but we set no goals or no steps that we can go after to achieve the goal. I want to challenge you to look at life this way, or look at your goals this way. What is the plan of attack? How are we going to get there? And once you lay that out, matter of fact, get a pen, write the goal down. And once you write the goal down, write the steps that you're going to do to get there. All right, so now you got your steps. Now, once you got the steps, I want you to understand something. When I was on the PhD journey, I started going towards that. Now, I failed the second grade because I struggled with reading and writing. So in the PhD, there's a lot of reading and writing. And what I found is I was not at the level that I should be in. So while the school gave me 16 steps or milestones, I had to add a few sub-steps or sub-milestones in there to help me stay the course. See, the way our mind is designed, we see goal and we want results, right? We like, that's the goal I want and I want to get there. We don't think about the steps in between. And when you're on that journey, sometimes you can lay out the steps. When you get on the path, it doesn't look exactly the way you thought it should look. You may have to add a few steps or sub-steps, right? So I had to add a writing coach to help me go to the next level. So you might need to add something in there to help you go to the next level. Maybe it's not a writing coach, but maybe it's a coach, or maybe it's a mentor, maybe it's an accountability partner, somebody that will hold you accountable to the goal that you set, to the plan that you set, so you can execute and get there. Understand that the steps will develop you. Like, fall in love with the journey, because that's the development of you achieving the goal. Now, as you're on that journey, I'm gonna tell you something, man. It's gonna get hard. It's gonna get tough. You're gonna feel alone. You're gonna lose some friends, some family, some co-workers. Like, you're gonna lose people, not in the sense of death, but you're gonna lose them in the sense that they're not on the journey with you. And that's okay. That's a part of being successful. The more successful you come, you will have to separate yourself from some old things. Separation creates elevation. So don't be afraid to separate if you're really looking to elevate. Don't quit, because you're not a quitter. I'm not a quitter. We're not quitters, because I'm in this with you. And quitters never win. So if we plan to win, that means what? We can't quit. And then here's the thing, you're going to start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, is that your dream? Is that your goal? Right. Once you start to see your dreams and goals coming true, don't slow up. Don't release. Apply more pressure. Put more gas to that thing. Go a little harder. Put yourself in a position to where you make sure you achieve the dreams and the goals that you set out for yourself. But here's something else I want you to think about when I talk about don't quit. When we talk about don't quit, we're talking about how you have to stay consistent and be committed. There were days where I was consistent in chasing my dreams and goals, but I wasn't so committed. But it was the consistency of getting up every day. Man, I got to get up and go to this gym. Man, I got to get up every day and I got to go study. Right? I was consistent, and it created a commitment within me. And then there were times where I was so committed that even when my consistency got knocked off track, right, my commitment put me right back on track. So we need both of those to keep us on the straight, to keep us going towards our dreams and our goals, to keep us working that plan, to keep us knocking those milestones down. So understand that you've got to have some consistency and you've got to have some commitment, and you've got to marry the two along this journey of going to your dreams and your goals. Because I'm gonna tell you what, there were many times that I wanted to quit. There were many times that I wanted to give up. Man, I was on the PhD journey and I said, you know what, this ain't for me. I give up. I'm gonna go back home and live good life. I got a good career. I got a master's degree. I'm cool. And what I found in that moment was I was defeated. I had given up. I was quitting on myself. I was quitting on my dream. I was quitting on my goal because it had gotten hard. I had became discouraged. But see, I called home. I spoke to my 3 children. But when I spoke to my middle child, it changed my life forever. And here's what he said to me in that moment. He said, "I'll talk to you later, future Dr. Coleman." And see, it was in that moment that I realized something. I started to cry, I had some tears in my eyes, and I realized in that moment that, hey, this guy believes in me more than I believe in myself. He became an accountability partner in that moment. He became a coach in that moment because a coach believes in us. Accountability partner holds us accountable. A mentor pushes us, right, through to the next level. So what my son did in that moment, he played kind of all 3 parts, right? Because I didn't believe in myself. I had already told myself I quit. I want to challenge you to do this. Don't quit, right? Don't give up on you. Don't quit on your dreams. Don't quit on your goals. Don't quit on your family. Don't quit on that job. Don't quit on that business. Don't quit. Learn something. You might have to reposition yourself. You might have to dig in deeper, but don't quit. Had I quit that day, I would have never won and got to the 16 milestone to walk across that stage and obtain my PhD. So the next point I want to cover is talking about getting in the driver's seat, taking control of your life. See, much of my life, I didn't have control of it. I blamed a lot of people for what was going wrong with my life, but I took credit for everything that went right. So when I look back at my mug shots and I can think to each one, and every time I had got arrested, I knew who I had blamed in the moment. I blamed everyone but myself. But here's my question. Where was I in the moment? What was my role? What was my responsibility? Why did I allow myself to be there? Even if I didn't create the environment, why didn't I leave the environment to prevent me from being arrested? Because I was a victim. I walked around with the victim mentality. But what's interesting for me with having a victim mentality is from the day I was born, God called me to win. He called you to win. So much so he called me to win that he named me Vic. But somewhere along the way, my pain, my frustration, my anger with my family, my parents, my peers, whatever was around me, I was just angry. And so angry that I told people not to call me Victor, but to call me Vic. So people started calling me Vic. But when they started calling me Vic, yes, I dropped the TOR, but I would pick up some new letters. I went from Victor to Vic to victim. I had a victim mentality. So I had to break up with the victim mentality, get back to Vic for a moment, and then I realized that I was a victor. And when I did that, when I made that shift and I made a promise to myself, I'd never jump in the losing game again. I would never trade in my winnings for anyone else again. I would never let anyone have control over the victory lane that I'm supposed to be in, because I was called to win. You were called to win. We were called to win. Why are we trading in our winnings to lose? We've got to break up with the excuses. See, you're letting your excuses cause you to sit back and look at the door that you're supposed to be walking through. I'm going to tell you today, we're breaking up with excuses. You're breaking up with excuses. No more excuses, because guess what? That's stopping us from going to the next level that we desire to be in this thing we call life. When we see excuses in public, we going the other way. We going where we find solutions. And then what we going to do, we're taking control of our life this day and every day going forward, because it's all about you. It's all about you being in control of where you are and where you desire to be, right? When you put in the destination on your GPS and you pop that phone or that GPS up on your dash and you start driving, you're in the driver's seat, right? You set the goal, you know where you're trying to get to, and you're going to navigate there. So we're going to be engaged with not quitting. We're going to fall in love on this journey, right? And then the last piece we're going to do while we engage, we're going to marry our dreams and our goals, because we're not average. Because let me tell you something, the average person never gets to their dream or their goal. I heard that only 8% of people dreams and goals come true, but it's because they create a plan, They work the plan. When things get hard, they don't quit. They hold themselves accountable, right? They take ownership and they don't use no excuses. But can you imagine what your life would be like? Not having to wake up and go to work for somebody else if that's your dream and your goal. Can you imagine what your life would be like when you get that dream car, that dream house? Can you imagine what your life would be like when you heal from that pain and that trauma and you build those relationships, new healthy relationships with the people you love? Can you imagine what your life would be like once your finances truly get free? Can you imagine what your life would be like? If you can't imagine it, I'm going to imagine it for you and I'm going to paint a picture. Let me tell you, it's such a peace of mind that comes over you. It's such a calmness all around you. Nothing can vibrate or shake you out of where you're going. Once you take control, once you break up with excuses, once you get in your mind that I am a winner and I will never quit again. Once you marry those dreams and those goals and you see how beautiful it is to unveil it, I promise you every day forward will be full of joy and full of peace. Not because life is perfect, but because you have found the perfect way to appreciate life.